And yeah, my first fish was a redfin on no bait, just a brand new hook, and away we go. You know, we've got them to shoot a deer in New Zealand and cut out the heart and eat a piece of the heart and stuff like that. Like this eldest brother walks over, opens up the lid. Next thing, this live duck's flown out. Blood everywhere, all through the kitchen. My eldest brother's run over, grabbed it, swung it, and just put more blood all over the kitchen. Best decisions ever made in that situation, right? Having a glass of scotch around some mates.
And by the glass, you mean bottle. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, hey, it's still the same.
It's made of glass.
Still made of glass, right?
Yeah.
Just in a different form. So
that's exactly right. So, Travis, you're welcome aboard.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
It's a pleasure to be down here. As I said, I've only been to Adelaide briefly, fly in, fly out type scenario, not even stay the night. So for a couple of days, it's been great. Have a look around. Obviously in the shop yesterday. Or no,
Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. You lost yesterday. Gone down to the wine region.
No, I was at work all day. So
yesterday was Sunday, right? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so no, mate, lovely to be here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and
Thanks
so you're connected to Huntsman Optics, which is the sole importer for Hick Micro.
Yeah, so
amongst other things.
Yeah, so I've been involved with Huntsman now for it seems like a whirlwind of time with what's happened since we first started. It was probably 5 years, I think, and started off as an agent for Huntsman, and then fell in love with what they do and what they're about, and the product ranges that we've got on board, and now a minor shareholder in the business, but taking the lead role in Oz, off the road and the rep anymore, which is pretty cool for a change. You know,
do you miss getting out on the road?
Not the road, it's the people.
The people.
Yeah, I mean, like and I've got a really good mate of mine, and he's a little bit older than me, and I always use him as a mentor, and he bounces some ideas off, and it's the chasing the deal a little bit as well too, like actually coming down and helping one of your customers out, whether it's just for products or a sales strategy, or it could even be fixing something that's not working for them, and you come up with a result. That's what you tend to miss, and you don't miss sleeping in a motel room. You don't miss getting to a town at 6 o'clock at night and getting a microwave dinner and sitting in front of your computer and answering emails to 10 o'clock at night and bits and pieces where all your mates think you've got the best job in the world being a rep, that you got a girlfriend in every town and you're out every night. Trust me, it's not like that.
Fair enough.
Let us stream, Travis. Let us stream.
Oh, you can dream as much as you want. It's like any job. It's to get a bit off topic, but it's
we don't have topics.
No, cool. Look, it is one of the hardest jobs to do mentally, being a sales rep. It's now that I've in a position where I get to employ people and interview people, and we've had an agency group for a while before I did this role. The people go, I want to be a rep, and it's like, I don't think you're up for it. And people break quickly, like traveling on the road. It's a lonely place, being a sales rep. So to all the boys who do it and have done it for a long time, it's a credit to you, because you've got to be mentally strong, and especially with families. I don't have kids or wife and stuff like that, so I was probably a little bit different than everyone else. But I can see with people it pulls on them pretty quick. That motel room can be a dark spot.
Yep, I can appreciate that. I haven't done the sales rep thing, but I've certainly been on the road a bunch and motels and pulling into a motel and doing that sort of gear, particularly back in the day when we were doing the gun shows. I was travelling around in the van, back when everything we used to have in stock fit in the van. Not the case these days, and we'd go to a gun show in something and then drive 2 or 3 days and then start setting up for another one. And
it is. It has been fun, and
it's fun for a month.
It is, and it's gotten me to where I am with Steve and Chrissy. So Huntsman, we're a family-owned company. Steve and Chrissy are my business partners / bosses in New Zealand. So there's Huntsman Optics New Zealand, Huntsman Optics Australia. We're based up in Newcastle, where I've lived most of my life. So, it's and obviously we import Hick Micro, and Hick Micro, probably been the leading brand at this point in time in the Australian market, in the thermal market. Their parent company, Hick Vision, is a very, very large Chinese company who, the largest closed circuit TV manufacturer, security company in the world by far. And they do have a lot of other change as well too. They do storage, they do water and robots. And you've been there, Rusty. You've seen the size of the place. It's fortunate enough to get you over there last year.
Yeah, it was November, a few months ago.
Yeah.
Yep. While this bloke over here was off in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have been begging to come along.
Hey, we one day, mate. One day.
Yeah.
We want to try and get everyone over to experience, I suppose, for better word, the might of Hikvision as a company. And, you could probably contest to this, Rusty. You think, okay, they're a big company, but till you see the size of them, like the factory we went to.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I did know a bit about Hikvision actually prior to knowing Hick Micro, and I knew they were big. So it was not a surprise, but it was it's like a reality of, yep, this is massive. Yeah. This is legitimately huge.
Yeah, and it's like I've got a really good team behind me now with Huntsman, and we've, I suppose, grown pretty quickly over the last few years.
Well, I mean, the thermal market has grown so rapidly, hasn't it?
The thermal market it's an interesting space. It's and you and I were having a conversation the other day about when you sort of first started. You're selling maybe one thermal a week, or
no, it was every couple of months.
Every couple of months, and now it's such a major space in a lot of gun shops, retail space now. It's some of my large accounts sell 9 digital devices to one dioptic scope now, and that's just the demographic that they're in. And we always look at it and go, well, when's it going to fill up? When's the growth going to slow down? And I don't know. I think there's still a lot of potential customers out there who don't understand it and don't use it. So
not so much that they don't understand it, that I see a lot of people and talk to a lot of people, and they're sort of like, everything's upgrading so fast. They're like, I don't want to, like that. They're waiting for that next one. I'm like, don't wait for the next one. Just get into it. Like, it's as good as.
I'll probably agree with what you said there too, Max, as well. It's not that I don't understand it. They're a little bit daunted by it, with its evolution that's happened. I could probably, where I see it sort of being at the moment, we've taken a big generational leap in relation to technology where we were, especially when I started. Where we're at now with 640 sensors and some of the crazy terminology, 15 net D, and that's a really formidable place to be at the moment. It's a really balanced spot, I suppose, in technology and costings. I think now the image revolution won't jump too much further in this space for a fair few years yet. A couple of reasons for that. It's a return on investment from the manufacturers, but it's an understanding now that we're in a space that technology has probably jumped a little bit further than where it needs to be, and we need to fine tune it as a manufacturer and importer to make it a little bit more usable. You guys don't know this, but last night they launched Image 4.0 for Stellars and Thunders, which is one of the largest sort of generational algorithmic update for the devices, and that's about the image that's already there, it turning into a more usable image than what we've already got. So one thing I know that I can contest to with Hick is they're not happy sitting where they're at. They're always trying to evolve. They're always trying to improve it, and they're not waiting for new products to coming out. They're offering updates on units that you brought 12 months ago, 18 months ago. If I'm talking about like a Thunder 2.0, that it will evolve for the life of its product that while you're using it as well.
You can definitely see that from an end user point as well, that Hick Micro has always been really good with updates. If there's an issue, they're quick to fix it.
Yeah, when you've got 4 floors of code writers, it's not that it's easy, but they've got
the resources to
exactly.
respond.
If they need to get something fixed, they get it fixed pretty quickly. Obviously, they've got a large product range across their multiple brands for their company as well too, that they do need to invest code writers for as well. But when they do need to push, they can push pretty quickly. So, but to get back to where we are, I think there'll be more fine tunes with, I suppose, usability and small improvements. Your phone still makes phone calls, sends text messages and stuff like that, but it'll just have some more interactive, usable, I suppose, applications through side apps and fine tuning, reticle color changes and stuff like that. For someone who uses it all the time, Max, those little fine tunes are very, very small, but can make a big difference.
Yeah, exactly.
To where you're at.
There's tons of little things that can change in it, but right now, where the images are in the 640 sensors, it's you don't need any more.
No, they outperform us as shooters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in realistically, we're using thermals to get closer and take advantage of the technology. They outperform what we can do now. There's certain situations where you need to stretch a shot, which, look, I can't do, but some of our ambassadors and yourself, stretching fox shots out to 400 metres, not for this guy, but if they can do it, and so my advice is into it, like if you're still looking at getting into this category for your own hunting application, is to talk to good dealers such as yourselves and buy what suits you now, because it will still be a tool for.
It's still going to perform at the level you bought it at, and most likely better. You'll never promise improvements and upgrades on an existing product, right? Yeah. But history will show that there is continual software updates and there is continual improvements. You said whatever dropped last night, a boost to the image, that is not it doesn't happen all the time, right? But it's not an uncommon thing over a period of time to see, and stuff gets, you look through your device and you go, that just got better.
Yeah, and it's exactly right. It's the small improvements will come, and I used to be in the fishing industry for a lot of years as well too, and that fish finder still finds your fish. You know what I mean? Like, it's no different. It still comes down to the application of the fisherman, right? And that's where I look at. Yes, they let a side scan, they do all this other fun stuff now, and they're into live scoping, and I don't know if you guys see that, they chase fish around trees and stuff with actually a live image getting produced back to the sound. Yeah, they're watching the lure go down.
Yeah,
and then
like a little camera on the lure. Is that
no? So it's essentially your fish finder, but now they're refreshing the image that they can actually see, rather than be a static image come across like slice by slice by slice.
Yep.
They're doing that, but then algorithmically turning it into an image that we can sort of see as a live view. So you can see the fish swimming left to right. You can see, but that's how they're getting a lot of the large cod and barramundi and the likes of that in certain areas where those fish are territorial and don't move off that stump or that log, and they'll just cast and eventually annoy that fish into striking, and they drop it on their nose. They call them live scope losers, but they're the guys that are catching all the big fish. But you see them, but these guys now have got $5,000 boats with $15,000 worth of sound equipment on the front of them.
That's crazy.
And they're cruising around. So, but that old sounder will still find you the fish. You still need to be able to cast. You still need to be able to put the lure in the spot to catch the fish. So
just makes it easier.
It's just new technology, right? It looks a little funny. I wish I still had.
You can still shoot a fox with a spotlight.
Exactly.
It's a hell of a lot easier with a thermal.
And we tell customers like that as well too. Like, one of the big things that we find is people come screaming in, and we see them at show, and one of the things that I sort of our company direction and focus is to get the right information to the end consumer, so they can make their own decision and apply it to their own surroundings. That's when we go to shows, people walk up and go, I want to buy a scope. I said, well, have you got a binocular on bits and pieces? And 9 times out of 10 we'll actually turn their thought thinking around, and they're coming in thinking, I need to spend $6,000 on getting a scope, and they walk home with a $2,500 to $3,000 thermal binocular and still shoot traditionally off spotlight until they can build a system. And it's important to come and see us at shows and actually come in and talk to staff and get a feel for what you need, because one of the things we do say to people is that you don't have to spend the top dollar to get a good outfit, and sometimes the top dollar will be a waste of money in your application.
You can deploy that money better elsewhere, or hold on to it for a little while. And I think you're spot on, like the entering into the thermal world, which is a different way of going about what you're doing. If you come into it from a spotlighting background, for example, if that's your game, like I want to go into thermals, you almost got to start from scratch of how you're going about getting the game, getting the shots, not from the shooting point of view, but from the mentality of like finding and doing all this sort of gear. And I think we've done it many times as well. And certainly that's something I've seen progress over the last several years now in terms of spotter is a great way to start, because that will have the instant impact on how many foxes and game you're getting straight away, more than a scope will first up.
Oh yeah, you couldn't agree with you more, mate. And I suppose one of the things where we are lucky in the whole time frame of thermal technology and into our relative field is that we've all had to learn. You know what I mean? Like we've
been part of the
part of the journey, right? And it's I come into it when I first got offered the agency role of, you take up thermals. Well, I don't even know what they are. I knew what they were, but I didn't know what they were in our case. I'm from central New South Wales, so I grew up hunting, chasing pigs with dogs, and shooting, and pest control and management and stuff like that. So I was a spotlight. I was a pig chaser, and thermals were just back then they were way out of our realm of being able to afford or justify them putting into our kit, right? So when we first started with owls and lynxes and thunders from the Hick Micro range, I knew nothing. Like nothing about field of view and base magnification and sensors and net D and all that type of stuff. So I suppose end user at this point are in a pretty good place, because the knowledge that we've known from our mistakes of buying products, investing into products and thinking that's what we need in the user, they get the advantages to get the cream of the crop, really. And we've been able to develop and implement different features and factors into these devices which suit the Australian market. And worldwide, Australia is a big market on the thermal scene. So
it really is, isn't it? It's
the spend per capita is, I don't know the exact figures, but it's massive to other countries. Like we is in Hick Micro is in we're number 2 in the world now for sales outside of America's Germany, us, and then the UK and Europe. So the people that have got them is nearly everyone. So if they haven't, they're using their mates or they're borrowing, they're begging and pleading.
It's becoming much more prevalent.
It's definitely commonplace now to have at least a thermal spotter. For most hunters.
You through Foxtastic stuff, which Hick Micro are sponsoring. We'll throw that in there. You would have seen that over the years that Foxtastic's been running is probably the conversations you were having year one versus the convos now.
Yeah, definitely.
Much more prevalent with some element of thermal or night vision at least.
Even Thursday night when we had the thermal night here, a local guy came down and he said he'd been listening to the podcast. He didn't even know this place existed.
Yeah.
He's like signed up to the Foxtastic and he's like looking at getting his first thermal and he's like, real eager to get into it. He's
keen.
Like, So I'm sure he'll be back in here soon.
Yeah, nice.
Maybe not before the weekend, but he might win one on the weekend.
Well and truly good.
Yeah, so March 20th to 22nd.
Just getting all the plugs in.
We'll just plug it in. Make sure you entered.
Yeah.
Massive thank you to Huntsman and Hick Micro for sponsoring it as well.
Yeah, look, we're always looking for these good community events, and I suppose also getting a plug. But look, foxes are bad. Let's be honest. The population of foxes in Aussie is crazy at the moment, and the more awareness we can get of our product category directly into something like this, we're all for doing stuff like this. So awesome. we're on board. We've donated an SH50 Stella 3.0, which is it's really a product that's probably really suited to the fox market. It's got a high base magnification. Oh, here we go. He's going to test me. 6, maybe. I think I told him at 6 point. I don't know, something along those lines. But it's a good handy device at a price point, which makes it a really efficient tool for farmers and fox hunters in the price range. So, Maxie. So look, we're excited. Like we're talking during the week also about the growth that Foxtastic's got over the last couple of years.
Great.
So if you're not in it, get in it. So hopefully we can crack those numbers.
Get them up there
this year. And look, we'll probably, if we're around, get asked the opportunity, we'll probably donate next year as well too, mate. So, and try and get a shooter down here, or at least get down here. Unfortunately, I'm not available this year.
Well, that's the great thing with it is you can do it from anywhere.
Why is it the great thing that he's not available?
No. So I meant that you couldn't get a shooter down here. You can do it from anywhere. It's not great that you're not going to be around and you can't do it.
We're stitching you on, mate. We're stitching you on.
Yeah, I know. Got me good there. But it's a national event and you hunt on your own property, so anyone can do it from anywhere. So
yeah, no, it's very good, and it's been great to see the growth, and we continue on. You're at record numbers for how like where we're up to prior to the event.
Yeah, definitely. So we're sitting at 50 entries right now. So 50 people entered, which was what 2 years ago.
That was everything you had.
That was everything we had,
and we are weeks away still.
Yeah, 2 weeks out, and generally the last days when all the entries come in. So.
As you love it, I
love it. So make sure you don't get your entries in till right before.
Aussies, come on, get organised.
Yeah.
Oh mate, we've covered so much stuff. Actually, I want to go back to. Had lots of questions. One hit all the way back. Travis, you said you grew up in central New South Wales.
Yeah,
and so hunting and shooting and that sort of gear, just cultural was part of that, or do you remember when you sort of stumbled across it or your first time into it?
Look, I moved up to a little place Warren, west of Dubbo, 130 k's west of Dubbo, when I was 10. Originally born on the Murray.
Fishing was the first love?
Well, I still remember the first fish I ever caught was a redfin on a bare hook. Just on a bare hook.
Yeah, right.
Out there casting. My brothers, I'm the youngest of 3 boys. My brothers took my push bike and shot out, and we were a 12-foot tinny, and we had a house on the Murray River.
Yep.
Wish we still had a house on the Murray River at Bundalong. And yeah, my first fish was a redfin on no bait, just a brand new hook, and away we go. And Dad, he got a job. Dad was in farm machinery sales and moved up to Warren at age of 10. And yeah, we just sort of fell into it really. It's Dad was an avid duck hunter, the Victorian. I was actually telling stuff. I'll segue a little bit. It's a funny story when obviously the Victorian duck hunting scene, the dads went off, and back then you couldn't, but still did. You had a fair few beers and drove home, and I remember Dad walked in the kitchen, plonked this esky in the kitchen floor, grabbed the beer out of the fridge, went and sat in the chair, bang, clean the ducks, boys. Eldest brother walks over, opens up the lid. Next thing, this live duck's flown out. Blood everywhere, all through the kitchen. My eldest brother's run over, grabbed it, swung it.
Yeah.
And just put more blood all over the kitchen sink. So that was one of my
it would
first.
Have been popular.
It was one of my first memories. Back in the duck hunting scene. Sorry to get away off topic, but we did as kids a lot of shooting and pest management and stuff for farms and that. Growing up, pig chasing was. The dogs was big in Warren. There was
that knives.
That was a commercial market back then.
Yeah,
so, putting them in chillers and stuff like that. My eldest brother Nath, he was heavily involved in that, and that's how they made money and stuff as kids. Run around on motorbikes and doing all the stuff that you shouldn't be doing, and being kids and having fun. But pig shooting and pest eradication and stuff was heavily me as a kid. I only lived in Warren until I was 18. Mum's still out there. All my brothers are headed off in different directions now, and Dad's not with us anymore. But so weekends, shotguns, 22s, dogs, camping, riverbanks,
all of it,
all that fun stuff. So and I still love it. I don't get to do it anywhere near as much as I do. I've just booked a trip with couple of the ambassadors, RJM and Six Star, shooting, and a couple of boys are going to come out, and we have 4 days sitting around a campfire, telling a whole lot of crap stories and having a bit of fun. Got a couple of new cannons that we've purchased that I haven't shot yet, and one I'm a little bit scared of, but anyway, we'll wait
What's
to see.
that one?
Oh, it's a 300 PRC from Hardy, one of the Project X full carbon.
Very nice.
We got it to...
That's going to kick.
It's going to kick. I'm lucky I'm not a little fella. So, but we've purchased that little rifle for a reason. We'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Okay.
To see what we can do with that. So yeah, so getting back to it. Yeah, Rusty grew up with it. Around it, shooting and hunting and fishing. I'm an outdoorsy type of bloke. And then I ended up becoming a fishing rep first.
Yeah. Know that.
So I worked for Jarvis Walker between being an employee and an agent probably for 15 years, 16 years.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had a business partner, Dame, in an agency group and did fishing and outdoors group. Did Hunter's Element clothing with Rob Wilson from Hunter's Element for a fair few years, and then the Hick Micro.
They're a New Zealand brand, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So you and New Zealanders got some connections?
Well, yeah, it's only really by chance. Like in all honesty, we met Rob Wilson at one of the after fishing trade shows, a million years ago now, and sort of took it on and had a crack at it, and that pretty much evolved, or they were Evolve Outdoors back then, into one of the biggest sort of clothing companies in Oz through that hunting market. But New Zealanders, good business partners. They're fun. Yeah. Steve, my business partner now, and his wife Chrissy, they're fantastic people.
Yeah. I got to meet them briefly in China, and they were really good to speak with. Have you been over there a bit?
I went over not as much as I thought I would really in the period. I only went over once when I was involved with Hunter's Element, and I only went over for the first time for the Huntsman Optics Christmas party in December. And that was
first time
I've been out of the office and met the rest of the staff and stuff. And it was Steve and I were having a company meeting or a gin in Oz, and he goes, "You coming over for the Christmas party?" He goes, "What Christmas party?" So we booked it there, and then I flew over and had just close to a week over there and met the team and bits and pieces. And then there in a little town called Westport on the northwest coast of New Zealand. Special place. It's a really pretty place.
South or north?
South Island.
South Island.
Yeah. Okay. So up north of Greymouth and that type of stuff.
Beautiful spot.
It is
pop through there when I was there.
More.
It's a great little spot, and we're probably a little bit fortunate with the size of the product that we carry. We don't need massive warehouses, and it is quite small, so we can ship pretty quickly and work remote, and that lets us not be down I suppose bound to a city like a big city. Newcastle's a city, but it's not a big city. But we don't have to be in those super large population areas to ship our product out. So we virtually be from anywhere. But sorry, off topic again. Don't know where we're up to. So
mate, it's the nature of this whole thing that we do. If we stayed on topic, we'd be over in 10 minutes. Yeah. Have you done much in the shooting, hunting, fishing in New Zealand?
No, I've met a few of the guys, and you met a couple of them in New Zealand as well too. And it's I've visited through the stores. It's a really interesting concept.
Sorry, I meant rather than stores. But have you been fishing over there? Or
no, sorry. I at Christmas time, Ben, the sales manager, he took me up for a little walk in the hills, and look, I'm not the fittest person in the world, so it was a little walk where we shot a couple of deer and had a bit of fun.
You've done more than Maxwell's done over there?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
they're big hills, though.
They are big hills. And we're driving around, and Ben's going, "Oh, you've been up there. You went up where? Where's the road?" And it's like, "Oh, no, the car park's there." I'm going, "You all right?"
How do we get up there?
How do we get up there?
You got a chopper coming?
Where's that dizzy taxi? So, no, we're planning on a trip in November,
nice.
which I'm pretty excited about, down around Stewart Island, off the boat, chasing whitetail, which I'm sort of pushing hard to happen. I'm going to head over to the Seeker show and have a look, and then we're going to organise a bit of a hunt and fish, and I've only seen photos of Steve being down there, and it looks pretty cool that you can shoot a whitetail off the boat, dive over the back and get some pawa or abalone or a lobster, and
wow,
and then you still
Maxwell's getting turned on right now.
You still look at the coastline, and you're chasing harpooker and stuff like that. Like the water's pretty deep, like right off the edge of the coast. So, Steve, when you watch this, mate, book that trip. Remember, we need to organise. So
get it locked in.
But
book Maxwell in, book me in.
Hey, we might have a ballad and have a cut the spare seat. So,
perfect.
But look, I want to do more. but it is one of those things to enjoy New Zealand. You've got to be fit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We're working on it. You and I are both working on it.
We're both having a crack. So if you looked at us in China, there's still a fair bit of us left in China, hopefully. It's wondering more. And vice versa. Like a lot of the Kiwis, want to come over and do what we do as well too. Like it's
they're sick of walking. They just want to drive around and shoot.
They don't drive around and shoot. It is like, but the stuff that I love to do, especially out around my place, is pigs on the stubble. Yep. If you've never done pigs on the stubble with shotguns, it's one of the greatest things and the biggest adrenaline rush you'll ever do. I've been fortunate to take some of the Chinese delegates when they come over from.
Yeah, right. How do they respond to that?
Oh, well, they love to go for a hunt. They will, in China, you're not allowed to have guns and stuff like that and bits and pieces, so for them to come over and experience it. And then one of the biggest things why we like to do it is that they get an infield understanding of what we want out of a product as well too.
Of course, it'd be so valuable.
Yeah, so look, the Australian user with thermals is probably I don't know the exact number, but 70%, I believe, of binoculars sold are getting mounted as a live streaming device down to either a ute or a buggy or some
70%.
Well, that's what we. Well, and it's probably 70% of those people you do both. Does that make sense? It's not. There's a couple of companies out here that have built a company just on roof mounting and hardwiring the video back to screen. So it is a big part of our business. But for them to understand what we do, and Jenkin, who's our international sales manager now, looks after Australia, New Zealand, and also the UK. We took him out, and I'm flying across the stubble, driving the buggy, holding the handle. Wrong hand, the buggy, holding the handle and shooting one handed with a shotgun. He goes, "How do you do it?" I said, "This is what we've done. This is what we've done. Rubbing your hand, rubbing your tummy, patting your head. You learn how to do it." And for them to understand what we're trying to get out of image quality and stuff like that, where in the perfect world they're trying to have the perfect scenario image and bits and pieces, but for that application, I just want to see a dot in the middle of the paddock, and I want to try and keep it in that screen as we're flying across to try and catch up to it before it gets through the fence, or try and get the dogs on it before it gets through the pop hole or to the creek or whatever.
You don't need millions of pixels; you just need the important ones.
You just need the important ones, right? So, to get them to see it is pretty important. And we've had photos of some of them in the past where we've got them to shoot a deer in New Zealand and cut out the heart and eat a piece of the heart and stuff like this. And
well, they're pretty game on what they eat, right?
Oh yeah. China's awesome. Like it's well, the food over in China's crazy. Like,
it is wild. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good. And one thing, if you do go to the Hangzhou province and you are looked after, just stop eating when you've had enough, because they'll just keep on bringing food. That's their tradition. The food just keeps on coming and coming and coming. It's like, you've got to stop. You've got to stop, guys.
Because that's what you guys told us when we were over there, is that if they ran out of food, like if they just stopped bringing it and you guys were still eating, that doesn't go down well.
No.
They want to just keep bringing you food until there is leftovers and lots and lots, and the plates are, the table's still full of food, and that's a successful meal. Yeah,
because then they take it home for the rest of the family who didn't get to come to dinner. So it's that's their tradition, and it's also a tradition that they don't drink cold beer, which isn't very nice either. So
I don't drink any beer really, but yes, I did see lots of ingenious ways. So when our first meal in China, Maxwell, there was 2 tables. And I wasn't well, so I was off with Steve actually getting some Panadol, right?
Yeah.
And they came, and it basically ended up as an Australian table and a New Zealand and Huntsman staff table. And because I came in with Steve late, I ended up on the New Zealand Huntsman table. And the New Zealanders had this fascination of just pouring ice in their beers. And then I remember the next meal I sat in the Australian table, and they're like, "How do we make our beers cold?" I'm like, "Well, those guys were just pouring ice in their beers," and everyone looked at me weird, like, we're not doing that.
You can't put ice in a beer.
Yeah, that's I agree with you. Yeah. But the New Zealanders were doing it. No. I guess in New Zealand it's just cold enough to drink cold beer. It's room temperature.
Got to get into you somehow. It's better than being warm. But that's I don't know many Chinese word, but piju, beer, binda, cold, binda, piju, cold beer. So thanks to Andy G.
Yep. So. Yeah, that was good. Now, one thing, we got a couple of products in front of us, and we're not. These are products worth talking about because one of them is the new ALPEX Pro.
It is.
And this thing, we alluded to it before about sort of how, well, I don't know if we actually said anything about it, but I was thinking it, is we're getting closer and closer for a digital device to comfortably replace some day optics.
Yes.
And the ALPEX Pro is the closest thing I've seen to. I mean, we've plenty of guys I know have replaced their day optic with an ALPEX, right, already, and that's happened. But seeing the clarity that on this thing, we're a step closer.
Yeah, look, the ALPEX as a brand and a device for us as distributors import has been a pretty amazing product category. We had the ALPEX A50T. When we first sort of come out and brought it in the market, and then we've grown and launched the ALPEX 4K, and it really took hold of the Australian market. Sort of talk some numbers. We were averaging 300 to 350 a month or something along those lines across the board, the A50. Very, very good device. When we first got it and first started mucking around with it, we're going, oh, crock, this is going down the path. It's not quite there yet. It still does have that digital bulkiness feel. It's it's a little bit heavy, but that's just as technology develops, right? It's but this thing, as Rusty gets it out, is the new ALPEX Pro, and I suppose really cosmetically look and feel and form factor. Getting close to.
It's so light.
That's the thing. Like
you showed me this the other night, and I went to pick it up, and I've got two 4Ks, and I was expecting a bit of heft to it, but I don't know what the actual weight of it is, but that is.
The specs. I think it's. I think it's over 50% lighter than what the current ALPEX 4K is. And look, they've changed, I suppose, a lot of the usability of it as well too, that now we have your focus is on the side, the zoom is in your traditional type of space towards the rear of the scope. Its weight is not much heavier than a day optic.
No.
It is heavier, but it's not much heavier in comparison to
you wouldn't notice it.
No, not on a gun. When we get the A50, just the P without a laser rangefinder on top, it'd be interesting to see how many times you put it on a rifle and no one would know, looking at it, that it's a digital scope, right? Yeah,
we're getting. I mean, I'm going to pass you that one, Maxwell. You're probably going to lose your microphone for a moment, but I've given you both of these things. We see a lot of devices come out and plenty of really good products and all that sort of gear. But when the ALPEX 4K hit, that was I hate using the word game changer, but it became a significant change. A line in the sand, right? When that came out is you're like, oh wow, this at this price became a really good contender. And I suspect we might be on the verge of that again. Setting a sort of a new standard in the night vision.
I think, without being biased, easy it's going to.
But you are biased.
Yeah, I'll be biased.
You're allowed of it.
I want to sell as much as I can. But look, the ALPEX 4K, to step back what we talked about before, is like as a starting package. You could get into. We sold so many LH25s, which is Lynx Monocular, and an FH25 around that price point. To have a starting package. To still shoot sort of semi-traditionally through a digital day optic, and then stalk and close down your target with a thermal device was around that 4K, right? And that was a really good sort of package for people to muck around with. And one of the things that we found with the 4K, it was probably, even though it still functions the same as a thermal, the end user, and I'll talk about your cockies and your farmers, probably found it easy to use because they could learn to use it during the day in colour, so to speak. And, you know, as people learn, you know, one of the big things that we have with digital devices is flat field, you know, no depth of field in thermals is getting dramatically better as we go through. But the end user found it a lot easier to use the ALPEX than what it was to use a thermal, and they could get in at a cheaper price point and still be fully anonymous at night time under the scope of darkness, as they say. And a lot of people brought it. You know, it was probably nearly on most FX air rifles as a digital option. You know, as you said, you use one Maxi with its ballistic capabilities in it as well too. And then from that, we've developed different systems internally by naming it and all that fun stuff you could use. But as you alluded to, Rusty, like this now is a form factor with its weight and its sort of one-hand use. It's going to be.
Yeah, I think it's going to make a big impact, and I think we're edging closer and closer to not being because the ALPEX came out was the best night vision option, sort of in the market for a scope. We're getting closer and closer. I don't know if we're there yet. The best scope option. Right? Maybe we are. And I think for more people now we are, not for everyone. Nope. Of course, there's certainly categories that the day optic will be king for a long time. But I think we have a higher percentage of people who this would actually suit both very comfortably. And probably the main reason I say it, you had some footage of them side by side on the same thing. And it was just, I don't even know how to describe this. It was the clarity of we're looking at like a horse and some other animals and just the clarity of the detail. You mentioned before, you got almost that depth of field, that almost 3D effect because you've got more information there. It looks so much closer to what you would expect to see through a normal scope. Yeah,
and that focus for HIC Micro as a brand is that I suppose their growth is going to come from swallowing up glass optics, right? So, that's a very big target for them. That's, it's a focus for them. But as you talk about, getting closer and closer to that, one of the advantages that digital, and especially this device here with the CMOS sensor in it, is that the availability to see into the shadows, which we can't do with a day optic now. Like it's light interpretation of being able to look into low light situations, and even for the stalker and person that's doing day hikes and stuff like that, they will be able to shoot earlier and later. You know what I mean? Which is going to be a massive advantage for them too. And when we talk about, I suppose, its usability now as we get better with technology, I was at the Mansfield Hunting Expo the other week. Great event. Get to it, guys. It was really, really good. Good community event. But I was talking to a gentleman, and he uses ALPEX 4K, and he was showing me footage where he's shooting deer out across the valley. It was 918 metres. Look, I can't do that stuff. It's pretty impressive. But I want to know how far we can stretch that. Yeah. And that's the reason why we've got this 300 PRC, because we want to see how far we can stretch it and test it, because that video that I showed you the other day, those cattle would have to be 600-700 metres away, and you can nearly see the ear tags on them. We could definitely make it out in comparison to the 4K. The 4K is like it's
no slouch.
No, exactly, and it's still available, and it will still be available for the rest of the year in bits and pieces, and it fits into a price point of $14.99 just as a scope, and this will be a little bit dearer than that as well. New technology, but this will just jump to the next level, as in usability. But that's a big target that HIC Micro have in the hunting industry, is to develop a day optic, and as we roll with that, it'll just get better and better. And if I take it back to another technology, look what we were doing with phone cameras, 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like now, some of the iPhone and Google and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like what they can do with the tiny little camera is pretty cool. And they will just, as they develop, they'll get bigger and bigger, and also bigger and bigger. The sensors will get more well developed and smaller and lighter and roll through. But that there technology-wise is pretty cool. And, I don't like to sit there and compare brands and stuff like that, but I don't see a comparison for it in the market in the immediate future. It's going to hit the ground running pretty hard.
A fair, from my limited experience with it the other night, it's probably a fair comparison currently.
Yeah, I had a quick look through it on Thursday afternoon. The image quality is just insane compared to the ALPEX.
Yeah, and
I mean, this has been like the standard for a couple of years now.
I think the thing with the new one is you're picking it up and looking at it not compared to other night vision devices now. You are comparing it to day optics and being like, oh, how close are we getting to that? That's so it's it'll be very interesting to see how people here receive it and how
and those added features like the zoom being in your normal turret operation spot is awesome.
Travis told me the other night that I don't know if it's deployed yet or it's coming. You can choose how you zoom.
Well, that was one of the things that we wanted to implement. Okay. So we talked I'm pretty fortunate that I get to see some stuff.
Yep.
For a while, I've had a prototype for 3 to 4 weeks now, mucking around with it, and that's one of the things we want to be able to do is have some, I suppose, end user choice applications. You know what I mean? And it's not because what we find is what we do in Australia is different to what we do in the UK and Germany and those type of places, right? Like as I said to you before, there's not many people in the world other than us that roof mount thermals to cars, and then we hunt differently and stuff like that. So we want to have end user choice options and applications.
And I think that's the exciting thing. So whether I've jumped the gun on that or not, but in terms of like the ability to go, hey, look, I'd like this to be set up in this way, or you're used to dialing the top turret for your zoom because you've been using thermals and others for the last 5 years. I'd like to go back to that.
Yeah. Well, that was my wish. Whether or not we've got the basic internals to do that now.
Gotcha.
It's electronic, but that's one thing we are looking at doing, and it all comes down to stuff like, the manufacturer's understanding a little bit of choice. I always put some terminology down to sunglasses. I sold sunglasses for a little while, and when we did training, people go, "Oh, you got to have a brown lens to fish in fresh water, and you got to have a blue lens to fish in blue water." Choose what suits you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's with colour palettes and stuff like that as well too. Like, I fight with a good mate, Andrew Milne, all the time because every time I come back to the car, he's turned it from black hot to white hot, and I do the same as well too. It's like we had that fight. What suits you, suits you. You know what I mean?
What do you find? Yeah, what do you do colour palette wise? What's your favourite to use for different scenarios?
I like in the thermal. I like black hot when we're in sort of some woody country. I just think it's a little bit softer for my eyes, and I can understand animals a little bit better and depth perception. But if I want to stretch out across, stubble paddocks, go to white hot because it just makes those animals pop. If I'm trying to, bounce across the paddock and keep something in the screen, white hot tends to work a little bit as well too. Okay. I can't stand fusion. That's just me.
No,
that's some people's choice, right? And some people love the green and the monochrome, red monochrome now. Just use what suits you.
Experiment. What about you, Max?
Depending on areas, most of the time I'm 100% black hot. But if I get into some woody areas, like the red monochrome or the sepia or those sorts of off colours, help a little bit to break up the trees and help pick things out. But most of the time black hot.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. I do like that. The monochrome, the red and the greens. Yeah. Do find them. Yeah, really good.
Different strokes, different folks, as they say, mate.
Exactly right.
Yeah, but just getting back to that ALPEX 4K, as technology develops, we've watched it grow and sort of be released overseas, and it hasn't been released to the public in Australia. But I love keyboard warriors. Oh, they made the sensor so much smaller, it's not going to let in as much light as the ALPEX 4K, and it's going to, why would you do that? It's a disadvantage. Trust these designers, guys. So when you actually get to look at it and the information and light that it lets in, it's a different beast.
Yep.
So, and it just comes down, it's just not objective size, right? It's got so much to do with aperture and depth of field and the sensors that are in these things as well too.
Yeah, there's I mean, we're saying you're getting closer to day optics, but you can't, the things that make a day optic good are not the things that specifically make a night vision or a digital device good. It's a different device.
Yeah, and that's 100%. We talked the other day as well too about the location of the laser rangefinder.
Which for those listening, because we are an audio podcast predominantly, the laser rangefinder is a small little bullet sort of shaped thing that sits on the top of the objective housing, rather than the ALPEX 4K, which was almost how do we describe that?
Turret?
Like almost a turret size sort of thing that's bolted on the top. This is much more slimline.
Yeah, and a lot of people are going, oh, why didn't it go into the lens like we have with the thermals? Technology is different. So with it being, I suppose, outside the lens, it's actually let us make the product lighter and smaller. We would have to make the lens a lot larger to fit it in the front with technology. They have talked, and hopefully they can do it one day, of actually being able to shoot it through the lens, which would be pretty cool. So it'd be part of the sensor, so you won't even know it's there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But at this point in time, where we're at with technology and investment, it's sitting there, and it's made to make it lighter and smaller and more user friendly as well.
And you said that one was a longer range than the 4K? 1200.
Yeah, 1200 meters. So, look, you guys know laser rangefinders perform only really as good as how steady you are, right? So once you're stretching them, guys, at 1200 meters and stuff, you've got to be still, mate.
And in good conditions as well. Although night is generally the best condition for an LRF.
And bounce it off something hard, what I mean? You bounce it off grass or a bush and stuff like that, guys, it makes it a little bit hard for it to come back. So, but it'll be interesting to see how the BC performance happens at that vast distance. Like, currently, my experience in this type of stuff, once we're around 400 metres, you need to do some tweaks to your BCs and these digital devices. They're perfect to a certain distance, but then you need to look at other environmental factors. Like we're talking to people the other day, and you're shooting across the gully. There's different wind over there, guys. What I mean? Different wind, temperatures, all that fun stuff. Once you start stretching out to 800-900 meters, it's not it's a guide. It's not a perfect world. It's not going to do everything for you.
Yep, there is. Long range shooting is a very fun subject, but there's lots to know. I don't know if I've told the story on this particular show, but back when we were running long range training courses, and we had a couple of guys who were on. There was a 5-day course that we ran, and we were on day 3. And these guys were shooting out 1,000. Stop me if I've told this one, Maxwell, but we're shooting out 1,000 meters, and they were just, the wind where they were was doing something, but they knew that the wind downrange was doing something different, and they could not get on target at 1,000 meters. Now these guys had been hitting 1,000 meters other days or maybe earlier in the day, and I think the Wednesday afternoon, which is a third day, was usually when we sort of let them go on their own a little bit and sort of not be guiding them through a predetermined course. It was like, all right, guys, you got a couple of hours. Go and deploy some of the stuff you've learned. Let's see where it falls down on that sort of gear. And we had, it was quite windy that day. And they're like, hey, they said to the co-trainer, Dan, can you help us out? We're really struggling to get on target here, and we're not quite sure what's going on. And he comes up and, reasonably, a very experienced guy, particularly with wind calling. He's feeling the wind where we are, and it would have been 14, 15 kilometres an hour. It's fairly quick, miles an hour. But he's watching downrange and looking at stuff, and he said, hold centre plate. And they're like, no way. You're like, yeah, hold centre plate. Got down, bang, 1,000 metres, dead on. And because there was about 3 wind patterns on that particular property, and they were all effectively cancelling each other out where they were, and it can be very deceptive. But if you're tuned to it, it works really, really well. And that's at this stage, that is not a thing that these devices can do. Although I did see when we were at HIC, they did have laser wind readers in the showroom. Yeah. Yep.
Well, I wasn't with you that day. I was off doing some other stuff. But the stuff that these guys have got and think about, and that showroom or story room or whatever you want to talk about, you walk through and it's got all the different technologies. There was some pretty cool stuff.
There is some pretty cool stuff in there. Yeah.
But no, look, we're really excited to get this new ALPEX Pro to the market. We probably envision it hitting my warehouse hopefully the end of March. So we're not far away. Whether it comes in before Easter or just after Easter.
This will probably be going out about the time those are coming in. So it could be out now, guys. Go check it out.
Go and have a look. It'll be good. So, we're excited. Yeah, it's been, well, you saw the prototype when you're in China, the form factor. So it's been, well, I've known about it for a while. You've known it for a little bit while yourself.
Well, we saw a 3D printed version of the body. That was about all I saw. But,
but yeah, look, it's going to be fun. And yeah, go and buy it. I got plenty coming. No, sorry, I haven't done so that because then people hold me to it. Yeah. They're coming.
They're coming. That is very exciting. I think it's going to be a good one. We've obviously got another product there, the Lynx, the higher end Lynx that's coming out, which is the 640 sensor.
So there's some new stuff coming out in that sort of range. So there will be a transition into the Lynx ranges that'll roll through. We'll see some new stuff. I'm not sure the exact timing on when we'll see it into the Australian market, but the 35s will have some developments moving forward. And and
because we see a bit of you've got the Lynx and then you've got the Falcon, and sort of the balancing those two product lines.
So like a Lynx for the HIC Micro, I suppose SKU range or whichever way you want to look at it will be your entry level device, and we'll roll down from starting off at your 256, 192 sensors through, and currently we're sitting at the 384 with 288s. Sorry for throwing numbers at everyone, but people will know that we will increase its SKU range, not by much, just to get a better quality sensor in that lightweight, small form factor, which probably more suits the stalker, the hound hunter, the pig chaser, stuff like that, to have something when they're running around trying to find something. And then our Falcon Condors will transform into our proper premium range, and they won't have any of the 384 with 288 sensors, is my understanding.
They'll start next tier
start off at 640 and go beyond that as a premium
nice.
Premium product, so to speak. So
fantastic.
Yeah, but I suppose we look at what's current in the market now with that Lynx range. The whole new 3.0 range is now in the country. It's available, right down to LE10s and stuff, and that new Zoom Pro that they've incorporated into that cheaper end unit, the value for money now off the top of my head, here we go, an LH25, I think, which is a very good field of view and base magnification. 384 is, I think it's $2,100 off the top of my head, with Zoom Pro feature, so you still can zoom a bit if you need to. But
so tell us about the Zoom Pro.
Okay, so Zoom Pro is for those who don't know in the thermal market, that your image that you have is essentially a fixed image, and it's predetermined by the base magnification in the field of view, what you're looking at at a small OLED screen at the back of the device. So as you zoom, it's not an optical zoom. So essentially you are just enlarging the image, and I try and explain it to people that it's like getting up off the lounge and walking closer to the TV. At some point, it's going to start to degrade because you're not zooming. It's essentially it's a mechanical zoom. So what HIC Micro have been able to do is, as that image is portrayed on the screen, the algorithm that understands it. So as you zoom, it virtually takes the Lego effect out of it. So it smooths off those corners and gives you a more of a straight line than a step down Lego effect.
Gotcha.
What's that stuff that everyone's collecting now? You got kids at Woolies. What are the blocks or what's it in Minecraft or something like that?
Minecraft.
Gotcha. It was all Lego blocky or even old Super Mario Kart.
I mean, I was tracking the Lego thing, and then you've changed the we just go back to Lego.
Yeah,
we got plenty of Lego.
There's Lego everywhere.
There's Lego everywhere. We understand that.
It takes that away from it. So essentially clearing up the image, and that's something that they will develop and will get better and better and better. It happens now in some of the scopes as well too. That just clears the image and makes it more user friendly to use.
Nice.
So, sorry, lost my mind of thought there. But the LH25. So, it's probably this is one of our most popular entry level devices, and that's where that Lynx range shines. And now they're all here. So,
brilliant, very, very good. Max, we got any questions for Travi before we wrap up?
Not too many. I think we've covered most things.
No? Where's your favourite place to fish, mate? Without giving away secret spots. Where's?
No, we want coordinates.
Favourite place to fish, right?
Yeah.
I got two spots. I like going to Darwin. That's because my brother, Ro, top end barra, fishing. Want to go on charter, book him. He's only there this year. He's done. He's had enough. I've booked my flight. I'm flying up there. I'm going to be sitting at Shenanigans in Milner Street in Darwin with a pint ready for him on the end of his last trip.
Yep.
But look, I love heading up to Darwin. That's generally because it's with my brother or brothers. We try and get up there when we can. Pretty remote. Thanks to Starlink, we can still work.
Yep.
Jason Barra. And then probably my other favourite part is Mission Beach.
Where's Mission Beach?
Mission Beach is a pretty special place. It's just south of Innisfail in North Queensland. If you step back when I was a fishing rep, back when I was 30, I got asked by the national sales manager. Well, I don't really say what I was asked. I was told.
Suggested strongly.
How do you feel about going north?
Yep.
And I said, it's not a question. He goes, no. Good answer. And met a family out there, the Pikes, lovely family. And Mission Beach is just a little coastal town. There's a roundabout, no traffic lights. It's inland from Tully. Tully has the largest average rainfall in Australia. So it's a very humid place at times. But it's a place where you take your shoes off, have a beer, and you can walk everywhere. And my mate Alistair, he had a charter boat business up there. His son Jared's now got it. So it's been a family business for quite some time. And I used to stay with the Pikes. So I'd fly into Cairns on a Monday, work my way down to Mission Beach, get there Friday. I'd be sitting in the trees with a carton of beer on ice, waiting for them to get home from picking the kids up from dance at Innisfail. And then I'd decky, well, I suppose call me a decky, for the weekend for Alistair and charter boats, just so I could hang out with Alistair and have a fish in that as well too. Yep. But it's a pretty special spot. That's where Dunk Island is. No, but Dunk Island's not a resort anymore. They got smashed up by Yazi.
Oh, right.
It's privately owned, which is a shame. There's a little bar on it still, which you can go and have a drink. But so back then it was a very big tourist town with people on Dunk Island. There's also Badara, which is the fancy island. I think it's a couple of grand a night or something like that.
Okay.
Very, very pretty. But yeah, on the reef, in the rivers, fishing. A lot of good memories, but a lot of good people, and it is a pretty little spot. So
it's always the people that make the place.
It's anything that makes a place, right? It's we were having this conversation yesterday when I was at work tasting wine
on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, yeah. But you get the people say, it's floral notes and it's plum and it's this. No, it's not. It's the laughter and the conversation that makes the wine, right? And it's the wine can be fantastic. It's the food, it's just it's the optical view, it's all those sensory issues that have a good time. And you can be in the worst place in the world and catching fish and having a laugh, and it's the best time, right? And we went in some sticky situations in Mission Beach where we were broken down the river, but hey, we had beer and crab pots, so we were fine. So it's but that'd have to be the two special places. I used to love as a kid also. When I was probably only 15, 16, you was younger, going with Dad fishing as well too. Like the young kid, and on the Macquarie River chasing Murray cod. Back in the day, over 1 million droppers and all that fun stuff, which all I do. Dad's not with us anymore. You can go and get him up there, so it's all good. But I would have to say in general, fishing Mission Beach.
Nice.
All right, I got a quick one for you. If you had to choose one, hunting or fishing, you can only do one.
You're a harsh man, Maxwell.
It's rough.
You're a harsh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're testing me now. Can I hunt fish? Look, it's look. I don't know. I choose fishing, and it's purely the fact that
it'd be close, right?
Super close.
Impossible question.
I'm tossing up and I'm going I don't like being in the ocean. I love being on it. You know what I mean? I'll admit it. Sharks scare me.
Yep.
It's last time I went for fish at Harvey Bay with my brother. We were chasing mackerel and long-tailed tuna, and the sharks were just destroying them next to the boat. It's proper proper pucker moment. Like, the bull sharks and that, like, at the back of the boat that were just destroying fish. It was scary. Like, you jump in, like, you're not there anymore. Like, whether they eat you, bite you, or whatever. The shark population on the coast of Australia is crazy, without getting right off topic. From what we've seen over the years, everyone tells a story that, you can't catch fish anymore. They're trying to turn sounders off now, whether the shark's attracted to it or not. But when you get back to your question, like, what's the difference between the two? Is I'm sitting there tossing going, fire, beer, ocean, beer. Like, it's a toss up, but I'll probably
when am I going to enjoy? I'll
probably drink more beer during, like, when I'm fishing than what I do when I'm hunting, because it's more responsible. Yeah, more responsible, right? But I think probably the fishing side of it, because you do hang out with more mates. You know what I mean? Like, hunting, you generally one or two of you in a vehicle at one given time. You might have multiple buggies and vehicles out chasing pigs, and you catch up remotely. But I went a fishing trip. I took a group of mates up to Mission Beach, and I actually had my 40th up there. I've been telling people to go for years and years. No one believed me, and I got drunk one night. I don't know, I keep on talking about alcohol. Sorry, guys.
It's because it's in the morning and you're missing it.
It's coming. For my 40th, I booked a massive big house and just emailed the family out and said, hey, guys, I booked this house for my 40th. Come, don't come. And guilted my family to packing up and come to Mission Beach, because I've been travelling there for 15 years and no one has actually seen the place that I always heard me talk about. But I took a group of mates up who had never done that style of fishing up on the reef, catching coral trout and nannies and red emperor and stuff like that. And to have the ability to share those experiences with your friends, that's what life's about, right? It's about sharing, like getting people to do stuff that you love, and then seeing them love it as well too. So whether it's hunting, fishing, shooting, whatever. But those long days of, up at Mission Beach for a week on the boat every day, getting picked up on the beach, punching out to the reef, fishing till 2, come back and stopping for a swim on a sand cay. You guys familiar with what a sand cay is?
No.
Okay, sand cay is an island that disappears at high tide and comes back at low tide.
Right.
So you're 30 mile out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Standing on an island having a beer that at high tide isn't there. It's pretty special. You to pull up and have a swim. And they're I suppose the memories and the good times that you'll have forever, and so will the boys. So
for sure.
Doing it again next year. So 50 next year. So I'm trying to book the same house I got for my 40th.
Oh yeah.
And doing it for 2 weeks. So once again,
brilliant.
All welcome. Come, don't care. I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah, so. You'll be there enjoying it. Yeah, nice. Sounds great.
I got some questions at you guys, I suppose. Right. A little bit.
Turn it around. Let's
go. So you guys get to see this and talk this a lot as well too. So I'd ask you, Max, to start with, what's your favourite Hick Micro product?
Ooh, that's a tough question. But I'm going to have to go with the 4K. Mm-hmm. I've been running 2 of them for a couple of years now, I reckon. Mostly on the rimfire and the air rifle, which is my most used guns.
Yep.
Shooting pigeons, shooting foxes, just all small block stuff.
Yep.
Bit of urban work, and they do the job day in, day out. Nice. 4K. I'm very excited to get my hands on a 4K Pro.
Yeah,
and play with that.
Very good. You, Big Cheese?
I was going to say the same thing, but I won't. I think in the entire line, the Condor CQ35L 2.0 is a real sweet spot in terms of sort of where it sits, what it can achieve, the handheld we see heaps remote mount, handheld, and the balance. It's probably one of the most versatile things on there, and we've sold a ton of them. They've been very good, they've been solid and reliable, but I think it has it sits in a sweet spot from a thermal point of view for a monocular.
Yeah, I suppose for us, sales wise, we couldn't agree with you more. That CQ35, FQ35 is the honey hole, and that's people who have started off at a lower level product and then gone to that, and then in the Australian market, people have jumped up to a 50, and I touched on before saying just because it's the most expensive doesn't mean it's the best unit, have come back down to that 35 for
not surprising,
for field of view, right? So that's one of the cool things. Another couple of questions.
It's market research.
Take it.
Take it.
So you get to talk to people I suppose, Max, at a different level. You know, you get to talk to them in your own industry with what you do with your professional shooting, and then you also get to talk to them at a retail level as well too. What's one of the most obscure questions you've been asked about thermal from both sides?
Obscure questions. I don't know. I think people have a lot of questions about the thermal side of things in regards as, is it as good as I think it's going to be? But I haven't had too many obscure questions, I don't think.
Okay. We get a couple about legalities and stuff like that, and they go, what about the local PERs and stalkers and stuff like that? Guys say, no, you can't look through windows with a thermal. It's all good. It's not X-ray vision. So no, it's funny. Rusty, one for you.
Yeah.
What was you're fortunate enough, we touched on before going to China.
Yep.
What was the biggest wow factor that you saw, or product or line that micro Hikvision sort of presented to you whilst you were over there? What was like, holy crap, I didn't realise it could be done that way, or they did that themselves?
That's a good question. Probably the thing that I did find that was surprising, is not product related, I can come back to that, was when we went out to the factory, wherever that was, going out there and then seeing sort of the image of all the buildings connected to the factory, and then all the accommodation connected to the factory as well, and how many apartments and things like that. You're like, yeah, this is pretty much like a little city built around a factory.
Do you remember how many people worked there?
It was tens of thousands.
13,000 at that one factory. And you sort of go there and it's just, we only get to see a very small portion of it, right?
We saw like I think we went to 2 floors and we probably saw like about 3% of each floor. It felt like anyway.
Then that's what it's like. But then they live there, but because they do so much of the governmental stuff as well too, some of these big thermal detecting cameras that for fire, they can pick up fire 20 k's away.
You've pinched my next point.
Oh, sorry, mate. Jumped the gun. that was one of the most things that I found astonishing when I went there for the first time. I was like, they're worth how much? And there's how many on a pallet? Yeah, I'm done.
These huge big turret sort of sentry looking things that are fire detector thermal devices that you can stick up, mount up somewhere across a forest and put a few down, and they'll pick up fire at how far? 10k? 20k? Yeah, rookie numbers for me. And they're what, $1 million each or so.
There's like a pallet of 5.
All right. You're just walking past it and it's on it's those things were pretty wild. From a obviously outside of the scope of what we do, but from a there's a massive use case for them, right? Like you can see that makes a lot of sense. I mean, we have in Australia lots of the turrets where people stand up and watch and see, or have cameras or something, but something that actually can pick up on it and show it and detect it. Pretty wild. Yeah.
Maybe we can stick them on those silly windmills once they take the blades off at some point. Actually make a usable use for them, right? Yeah,
work on that. So that was pretty wild. I did have a question for you about that HIC factory. Is that a pre-existing factory prior to HIC? Is that?
Oh, look,
you may not know.
To be honest, I wouldn't know. It's a question I've never really asked, but
because it seems like that building's been there a long time.
Yeah, but Hikvision's been around for a long time too, right? Okay. As a company, so Hikvision as their parent company, so they obviously make all the Hikvision cameras, and I hope everyone now starts looking up when they go to McDonald's and different buildings now to see what security cameras are there, because you'll see Hikvision everywhere. Yeah. They've been around for a long, long time, right? So, and back in the day, there was a couple of competing brands for, I suppose, the marketplace, and without talking about other companies, and they're all sort of fighting over that same space, and the government contract come up, and my understanding is that HIC sort of got the government contract, and that's why they're as big as they are now, because essentially as you walk around China, all the cameras and that are HIC, but there's still some other companies that are there as well too.
But there is a lot of cameras.
There is a lot of cameras.
That's probably one of the first things you notice flying in. You get to the airport, and there's like every 20 meters, there's like a pole in the airport with like 7 cameras on it. Yeah. You get over it pretty quick. But
guess what? No crime.
You felt very safe.
You're very safe in China. You know what I mean? There's more chance you're getting hurt by
Hot coffee.
Hot coffee. I love the old lady pushing you out of the way to get on the bus, right? But no crime. And I've taken, we've been fortunate now to do a couple of trips like this and take people over, and you can go and have a drink. You don't have to worry about crime and. People leaving wallets on tables and no one takes it. They find you, you know what I mean? Here's your wallet and stuff like that. So that's one thing I will take that I took away from being involved with Hick Micro is that when we first got invited to China, I was like, do I really want to go?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From all the stories you heard, I love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a clean place. And we do have, a bit of smog and that's pure population, across those colder months where you get the thermocline and that air can't get away because it's trapped. But, where there used to be concrete, now there's greenery.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to China before, but it was much more, not dissimilar to other cities I've been in, right? It was no significantly different.
No, you look
Except
down.
the buildings are going up faster.
Yeah. But you go down the freeways now and there's like down the centre aisle of the freeway, they've got plants.
Yeah.
They're trying to do as much as they possibly can, you know what I mean? So, yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, those factories are pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty good. All right, we all questioned out.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've thrown a couple at you now. I've had a crack since you've been cracking all morning. So
I love it. Yeah. Last one, Maxwell, hunting or fishing?
Hunting.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a pretty easy one for you. Yeah.
I do love my fishing, but hunting.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, we'll wrap it up there, Trevi.
Thanks, guys.
Come and hang out.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, easy.
Thank you.
Let's not wait 12 months to do one again, eh?
Yeah, that's it. Next time.
Thanks,
Sounds
guys.
good.